Welcome to Intuitive You on Oneness Talk Radio. We are so happy you are here with us today. And man, I always say it's a special day, but today is really special because one of my dear friends, I haven't talked to her in years, and she happened to be on our Intuition to Income Summit years ago. And I sent out an email to my colleagues because we're just really growing One Heart Global. And this woman responded, and I was just so excited because it told me that she really felt my heart and my mission beyond words. Because like I said, we hadn't even talked for years. So she's going to be sharing with us some really powerful information about how you can grow your business, start a business, and actually really just be more of who you are, which is really the key. And the second key is really not just being who you are, but understanding that you are love. And from that foundation, you can truly create what you want. So Katrina Sawa, do you want to introduce yourself formally? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Abby. It's super fun to reconnect with you. I don't remember you being this giggly and goofy either. Maybe because it was on a summit and you were just all like disorganized and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, it's been a while. Maybe life is good, which is awesome. You know, when life is good, we get giggly, we get fun, we get So it's fun to be here.
Oh, so awesome. Well, I always remember myself laughing, but whatever you remember is totally fine.
I'm just formal introduction. Okay, so I used to be in advertising sales for the local newspaper 21 years ago in the Northern California area here. I've been in sales and marketing all my life. I was always the doing girl. Like, let's just do this, do that, do this, do that. And I had to learn how to be throughout my business. So we're going to talk about that and the transition from doing to doing and being. Mm-hmm. And it's just been a whirlwind journey. Now I have a publishing company. I have a web and techie design company. I have a business coaching company for 19 years now. And couldn't be happier. I just keep evolving and growing and learning, just like we all need to do as entrepreneurs. So that's me in a quick nutshell.
I love it. Well, I love that I know you do all this from a place of being. And I know one of your books, Love Yourself Successful, is something I'm really curious about because I feel like that really is the key. Like, I started my company, I think I told you when I was 19, like very young, from love. And it's like when we love ourselves and we have that love to share, it grows. So I would love to just hear more about what's in that book. And obviously you have so many books, as you can see behind you, but that one in particular, what some of the key gems that you feel like you could highlight for our listeners?
Yeah, that's funny. And God, I wish I knew what I know now, or wish I had the hindsight to start a business at 19 or in my 20s, for God's sakes. I was like, no, God, I'd be a millionaire right now. Jesus. Yeah. Love Yourself Successful was born from, so I never thought I wanted to be an author. I just wanted to be a business coach, help business owners try to figure out how to make more money doing what they're passionate about. And started helping them with their marketing and all this stuff. And some of my friends around me, I would be in mastermind groups, and I was, go to conferences and workshops and meet all these people, and people started like becoming authors. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I'm like, I still didn't want to be an author. And and then I'm like, oh, they're getting publicity. Oh, they're getting more clients. Oh, they're getting more speaking gigs now because of their book. I'm like, okay, I can see the money now. I couldn't see like worrying about buying a $20 book, but now I see the money. So you have to make it about the money. I don't care how, of a holistic business practitioner you are, whatever you are, you have to make it about the money, because you will serve a lot more people in that process. But so Love Yourself Successful was my fourth book. It was my first full book, but I wrote a chapter in 3 different compilation books before then, which are these two. Oops, no, that one up there, Power and Soul with Allie Brown, and then these two over here with a couple other groups of people. And I said, okay, now I'm ready to write my own book. I don't recommend this unless you have some money coming in, though. Okay, so there's a strategy behind when to write the book. My book, I thought, well, I don't really know I didn't get the download of what I wanted to put in the book. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just do a live event. I'll do a 3-day event around the concepts of what I want to put in the book. And then in the process of planning that event with the content on the event, all that kind of stuff, I will figure out the info for the book.
Yeah.
And well, that sounds like a great idea. That didn't really happen. I still had the event, but that wasn't the right content. And so I had to go through that event. I had to go through a big breakup in my personal life. And I had to go through a couple more years of working in the business and growing and learning. And like I said, learning how to be instead of just do. And then that's when the book came out. And it came out I wrote it in 4 days, finally, after 3 years of thinking about it or, plotting it.
Yeah.
So that's really how the book came out. And what's in the book is, it's a lot of my stories and personal life stuff, but there's 4 types of love that you want to focus on in order to make more money in your business. Love for yourself, which is, I love my body no matter what. I love everything about me. I'm an expert. People, I'm worth getting paid highly. So love yourself, love for what you're doing. Please don't stay in a job that you hate or settle for clients that, talk down to you or disrespect you. So, get rid of toxic people. Love for your environment, loving your environment. So that's like how your attitude in life, right? That's getting rid of those people that are like bad energy, juju, and you guys maybe that are watching Abby, don't tolerate that anymore. I don't know, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do tolerate that kind of thing. So loving your environment. That also means like when you're driving and you have an asshole that, cuts you off, you don't just go, la, 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 because that's not loving your environment. So just let it go. My husband this. And then the final one is love with their significant other. And a lot of times people will say, well, I don't need a man, the man's not a plan, or I had, somebody, I don't need anybody now. Okay. But I would think, most of us need love. Most of us need love and encouragement and affection, attention. And so I would try to be open to that. Again, if it's, I'm divorced. I had a really serious love as well in the middle, who I thought was going to be it. And then he broke my heart on my 40th birthday. And now I have the man that I'm supposed to be with, right? And I'm 51. So, and it's only been, 9 years or something.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's a long story to the short question of what's in the book.
Yeah. So Katrina, can I just back you up just a little bit? Because I love everything you shared, but I feel like, yes, business is about the money because it's an exchange. But if you take a step even back before that, you are still connecting to love, like you're talking about, right? And then comes the money. So it's not like, to me, business is not like the way I do it. Isn't like I have to make money. It's like actually I become the love. Then that love becomes an exchange of energy through money, right? Yes. But I feel like I know you well enough just energetically to know that's where you come from because you're so about service. So I guess I really want to highlight that because that's part of my mission is to monetize your gifts with love because I cannot stand that energy when it's like, it's about the money. I just want to get something that drives me nuts. And most people probably listening to this show are pretty intuitive and we're all like, I don't like that. But who you are and who I really believe we all are is like, yeah, let me feel my soul. Let me see how I'm meant to serve. Let me be very clear about how I'm doing it, teaching it through a book, through coaching, through whatever it is. And then you have this offering, it's an exchange of service, and you happen to use money sometimes as an exchange in business for sure, right? But it comes from that place. And so I guess I just really, I want people to get that, right? Like when you open.
If you guys can see the rest of my office, first of all, there's a heart behind me, okay? Yeah. And that whole wall over here is all about love and red. It's all, and I have hearts and love over here. I have heart things. I'm all about love. But what I do know is that most people are not charging enough. You're not charging your worth. You're settling for less. You're saying, it's okay. I don't need it. Stop doing that, please. You do need. And let me explain why. Okay. I call this the what if factor. What if your parent, gets cancer and they can't take care of themselves and they're single or widowed and you have to be the one to take care of them? What if your significant other gets cancer or gets hurt or gets a car accident. My girlfriend, her boyfriend just got in a huge car accident. It wasn't his fault. And the person who hit him died. Okay. And him and his son walked away, but they're very traumatized and affected. You never know what's going to happen. What if you get sick? I've had 2 total hip replacement surgeries. In 2013, I had 2 of them that knocked me out for about 3 weeks each without being able to work. I thought I would just be on the couch with some painkillers and be able to coach some people. No, I wasn't able to. It was painful. Like, I was like, no, I don't want to talk to anybody. So I couldn't work. So you have to have that money coming in on a regular basis. You have to have the systems, the marketing, the team to help you with the processes in case you have to go take care of yourself or someone else for 3 weeks, 3 months. I have a friend who had to move to Nova Scotia from the US and work from there because she's taking care of a parent and she's been there for 8 months. Okay, so what if something happens and you can't like produce the money? You can't change trade hour for dollar. You can't do that thing. You have to think about that and make as much money as humanly possible now because you have to put it away. We have to start investing and saving. And because I don't want you to be the 80-year-old on Social Security eating, top ramen because you can't afford anything. Right. That's where I'm coming from, is people aren't thinking about the what if. They're not thinking about when they're 80 or 85. My mom's paying $4,500 right now for independent living in a retirement community. $4,500, right? And she doesn't need any assistance. So assistance is like $6,000 to $10,000 a month. I'm just saying, nobody thinks they're gonna need it, but what if you do? Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from when I say you need to make it about the money. Stop settling for less. Put value. I'm all about value pricing. So like I have a mastermind that is one price and I give you everything I've got. Unlimited access to me, all my programs, all kinds of group. I mean, that's how I price for most things. So that's just a suggestion, but
yeah. No, I love it. And it really is. It's like money is the value exchange. And so you've created it and then you value yourself. And so people say yes. So really building that.
Yeah, but love yourself enough to charge what you're worth and more, because there's billions of people on the planet and we all just need this many to make a good living. Okay. Now, if we want to serve the masses, you can't serve from an empty cup. You have to serve from the saucer, right? Fill the cup, that's yours, and then overflow it. And then you serve from the saucer. So I just want people to want more. I want people to want more for yourself and for your family and for your kids and for your loved ones. And that means it's not selfish. It's not selfish to charge a high dollar. You can serve people at much higher access when you feel super valued, is all I have to say.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think stops people from wanting more, right? Because I think there's something about fear of actually wanting to know you can even have it. How do we break through that?
Lots of counseling. No,
Go to therapy or get a coach. No, just
lots of meditation, maybe some hypnotherapy, whatever it's going to take. I mean, there's many people I know who've been programmed from your parents or your grandparents and what they've said, right? And some people don't wake up to what's possible and the awakening that they've been limiting themselves for 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 years when they finally wake up. So it's you want to wake up as soon as possible, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I can offer on that is I feel when you connect with your intuition, which I and Katrina can help you do, is you actually feel what's possible and you know you're worth it. Because like you just said, Katrina, it's the programming, it's the beliefs that at some level is a disconnection from love, right? Because when you're totally in your intuitive center, you actually know you can pretty much have anything you want, because you want it because it's yours to have. So I just feel like see where you're maybe blocking yourself with your own thinking, your own beliefs that probably aren't true,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We all have something, right? I mean, luckily my parents never said like, we can't afford it and da, 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 because I think my grandparents had money. So they were always kind of felt somewhat secure that in case something happened, they'd be okay. So I never had that I can't afford it feeling, which so many people do, right? I was never told that you can't do this, you can't do that, you're no good and all that. So I was very, very blessed to not have those kinds of negative things on me. However, my parents separated when I was 5, divorced, and my real dad moved away, and I hardly ever saw him. I see him maybe once, twice a year. When I did see him, especially in my late teens, this was really hard. Well, my late teens, I looked good, but he would complain that I didn't get my teeth fixed yet. They're crooked, right? I'm 51, they're still crooked. I could care less, right? So like, then when I was in my when I started my own business, he would say like, oh, I'm really proud you started your own business. I can't believe you're making enough money and not have a job. It's great, but how come you haven't lost that weight yet? I'm like, right? So compliment and tear down. It was, that to me is a toxic person.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I loved him and he loved me, he's since passed, but when he passed, that was the last toxic person in my life, because I'd already divorced my first husband, who is a great guy, but we just didn't get it. Towards the end, I grew and he didn't. And I grew into myself and became an entrepreneur, and he didn't want to come along with me. So I had to let him go, because at 35 years old, I was like, well, I don't want to live like this for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I deserve more. And I deserve someone who loves me and wants to support me in what I want to do now.
Yeah.
And yes, I've shifted what I wanted to do. So I let go of the husband who was a naysayer. And then my dad died a couple of years later. And I'm like, whoo, I felt free. Like, because I could pick and choose then who I would surround myself with. And while I let in maybe one or two people here and there, unknowingly, that weren't the greatest, for the most part, I said goodbye, or, hey, I'll talk to you in a year, to people that were just not so supportive. So that toxic people, even though they are someone that you love or they loves you, if you let them affect your entrepreneurial energy, your energy in general, it really deflates your bubble. And it's so hard to do the marketing and sales and the speaking and the videos and everything you need to do in order to really grow your business.
Yeah, it's like clearing your energetic space. I mean, I love that you shared, like, when those things were released, you felt like you could feel freer and more of yourself. And that is your spirit. That is you. And so, like, giving yourself wings to fly, really, like just feeling and then seeing, okay, who can I bring into my world? Part of the reason we've connected is it's amazing to have colleagues that like share that same vision and energy, and they're going places, right? So I think just finding those people that you can surround yourself with,
Yeah. And I tell you, I was more of a doing person. The year that I tapped in and was awoken to my being was, it was 2008. I hired this next mentor because he promised to show me what to do to make more money. And I'm like, I just need to make more money. I need to get to the 100,000. I wasn't to the 100,000 yet. I was like 5.5 years into my business. And I'm like, I was really close. I was probably in the 80s or something like that, or high 80s. And I'm like, I want to get to the 100. That's like this big milestone, right? And he's like, I gotcha. I'll show you how is what he said, right? I would go to his events though, and it was all subconscious beliefs. And I'm like, okay, I don't know about this. And then, and then every time I would go to the mastermind group or get on a one-on-one with him, he'd be like, Katrina, just be love. I don't know why. So though that group of 15 entrepreneurs, my really good friends now, and him, are the ones that coined the be love to me. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. How am I getting more clients? How am I going to make more money? Be love? What's that? I don't even know. Like, I mean, so it took me a whole year to really embrace that, which sometimes does when you're growing, right? And I would cry. I was frustrated. I was mad. And at the end of the year, wouldn't you know, I hit 6 figures, right? I didn't do anything different. In fact, I probably did less than I normally do because of the mentoring and the people, and I made 6 figures, and I found who I thought was going to be the love of my life, the guy that broke my heart. But I had love and money at the end of this year, and I'm like, what? Love and money. And so that's where the concept of the event and the book started coming. And then it took a few years to get it all out. But yeah, love and money, it was crazy. So now I talk a lot about how to get more love in your life and money in your business. And you got to do the doing and the being. And so, you know, for the most part, what I teach is practical, tactical stuff, like do this opt-in page and have this autoresponder and make sure you say these words and and do these videos and put them here and, you know, all that practical, tactical stuff. But oftentimes when a client is not doing what I tell them to do, you know, 3 weeks in, you still haven't done this thing yet. What's going on with you? That's when we need to go deep and go into the love side of your life, right? Because there's always something there that's slowing you down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And coming from the more energetic perspective, it is when you shift that energy to say, okay, I'm going to be love. I am going to show up. Then you just start naturally doing. And I think that's why you said, like, hey, if a client's not doing something, it's like, what's really going on underneath the surface? Clear that up. And then you just feel inspired to do things. You know, in my experience, it's like, it's just, you want to because you feel good. So it's like getting to that place internally where you just you are being the love at that point.
Yep. Yeah. So as much as I like preach, people call me a fire hose because I just want to share all the stuff that you need to do, right? As much as that is in my everyday life, it's all coming from love because I want people to be, actually, I got my hands read one time, or no, I did my true purpose. I did both, but my true purpose work with Tim Kelly was to heal the hearts of women. That was my purpose was, and I'm like, that sounds kind of big. Like, I'm just mentored, helping you with your business, and to heal the hearts of women. It's still hard for me to say, but when it comes down to it, I serve mostly women, not all, but yes, I am helping them believe in themselves more, love themselves more. Like, sometimes I help them with online dating so they can find the man, and like, I'll put it positioning themselves, marketing themselves to the dating world. It's so funny. And so it is healing the hearts of women by helping them make more money too.
Yeah. Valuing themselves and making money for sure. I love it. Well, are there any ways that people can, like, I know they can connect with you? Like, what would you recommend somebody just like wanting to get started of, you know, really loving themselves deeper, getting more money? Like, where would you guide them to one of your books, or do you have a program that people can get involved in?
Yeah, so the book has been out since 2012, but I'm in the process of doing the second edition. So I'm adding more. I'm adding the follow-up update to my story. I'm doing that right now. And so it's launching again in January. So I would wait to buy the book, but there is a free audio on my website. If you go to loveyourselfsuccessful.com, that's the page for that book free audio. So you could listen to that, and that goes into the 4 types of love more. And then just, you know, watch for the book launch in January, February. I'm also going to be doing a Love and Money Summit, and I have a Love and Money live event at the end of March next year. So yeah, I have one every year. I do have a love funnel, and I have a business money funnel, you know, right, in the business. So it's either way, I've got all kinds of options for you. So.
That's so awesome. So Katrina, how have you been following your intuition all along to create these businesses? Like, how is it, how have you become aware of it and followed it?
So I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't know what that was. I needed some factual information before I could leap out, right? Way in the beginning. Yeah. So I did hire a mentor. I hire lots of mentors, and I get into mastermind groups, and I hire people to spot coach me on certain things, and I feel into like, who's the best person for this. So now I want to, you know, if I want to, a couple of years, I wanted to really hone my speaker skills, right? So I would look in the marketplace and ask people, like, who do you like, and who's you know, someone I should learn from, and I would go to their workshops and hire them or whatnot. And so that has led me for the most part, a good direction on who to hire. Of course, we all invest money that we think, well, I probably could have not done that. But for the most part, I made good decisions. I'll tell you though, I don't think it was my intuition. It was my ego a couple times got me in over my head financially with a couple people, because I thought, oh, I need to, be the big name person that's doing the big investment. And if I just didn't have that ego in place back then, that would have saved me a lot of cash. But I think it was a lesson I needed to learn, which is annoying, but it's true. And, and so I just don't dwell on it. And now I'm much more intuitive than I used to be. I used to just fall for every sales ploy on the planet, right? Just like a lot of newer entrepreneurs. But now I feel like I'm pretty good, as at least being intuitive to run my own business and who to hire and all that and what to invest in. But also I'm super intuitive with clients. I mean, I can tell what's going on with them now more so than ever, and call them on their, right? And put a mirror at you just said this, so I'm really, really good at that, especially when they're putting up excuses and, self-sabotaging themselves. And my favorite thing is to just say, stop it.
That's funny. I feel like I had a dream I kept seeing a stop sign last night. I'm like, what's going on? I think I was foreseeing our show. That's funny.
I have this that I give out at my events, and then I also have a little stop it button. That's where you press it, and here's what it says. Stop it. Just stop it. You got this. You're amazing. That's my voice. And so I don't know how they created it and all that. I think they came from China, whatever. But the point is, so I'm all about just stop it. So some people will love on you, and I'll be like, just let it go. Like, life's too short to make excuses that you can't afford something, or that you can't do something, or you can't charge what you're, something, and just do it is what I say.
Yeah. So how do you know when you're following your intuition?
I don't know. I think I follow it 90% of my day. I think it's, it's in my to-do list. I look at my to-do list. What's the thing I need that's the most gonna serve me the best to start with today? So it's just, it comes out every day, all day long. I'm intuitive with what to say to my family sometimes. If I want my 12-and-a-half-year-old to do something, I'm like, do I yell at her? Do I force her? Do I threaten her? Or do I do some kind of reverse engineer little snappity snap slap, something to do to make her do it on her own? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, the reason I ask is I think it's a really beautiful discernment. So you know the difference between what you might be calling your ego or your intuition. So how do you know you're following your intuition? Because I know you as following your intuition. We'll hop on and you'll be like, and I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was fast. You're super fast. So I know you're intuitively flowing. But the question is how do you know you're following your intuition, not something else? Because I want people to be able to feel that, to be like, oh yeah, that's my intuition, and I can trust that, and I'm following that because I know that I know that I know.
It was hard when I was learning how to use my intuition more, because I would doubt myself. Is that intuition? Is that just something that's coming to me? Is it some outside influence? I mean, I've done the conversations with God and in a journal before. I'm like, is that really what I should be doing? Is that really that coming through? I mean, I think I use I've been using it my whole life, and I just haven't called it that. Yeah. And so I don't know. I feel it here. I feel it in my heart and my belly, and I just don't doubt myself anymore.
Yeah. So to me, I kind of answered the question in the question. It's a knowing, you know it. And so I remember, like I said, when I started so young, I'd call my mom and I'd be like, I just know that I know, you just feel it in your body, exactly what you said, your heart and your gut. And there's we all have truth within us. We know what truth feels like. So when there's resonance of, I just know that I know. and you trust it. And then I was talking to another girlfriend. It's so funny. So it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. I was having dinner with my business manager, and I love Cosmos. And I was like, I heard my guide say, just have this one, not another one. And I'm like, that is so annoying. I'm like, Sai, do you hear your guides? Because this is just annoying. And he's like, no, Abby, not everybody just hears their guides like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And so like point being like, I was connected and I knew that I knew, and it's not necessarily something I wanted to hear because I really like those Cosmos, but it's like to listen to the guidance and trust it. And so I realized that I was super connected, and then people would call me and all that. But my girlfriend also said just a couple of days ago, I think it was Saturday, she's like, yeah, when I stopped doubting myself, I became so intuitive and quote unquote awakened. I feel like that term is used so much, but just she trusted herself. So I love that you brought up doubt, because I feel like when you let go of doubt, and at 19, I did not doubt myself. I didn't care. I was like, people are like, oh, did you get a degree for this? I'm like, actually, I left my scholarship. Like, game on, let's go. See you in the office. Like, I really did. Like, no joke. Yeah. Because I just felt so clear from within, and I didn't care what people said because I knew I was coming from love and I knew I was in the truth. And then people like 50-year-olds or kids were coming to me. And so when you have that solid knowing and you take action from that place, and to me, it really is in your body. You go from your head to your heart to your gut, and then it's like you are a force to be recognized. Wow, I was going to say recognized, but a force to be recognized, because people see you. They're like, wow, what are you doing? And then they want to know. So the biggest key is to trust yourself. And, I can always tell if somebody's lying. You feel it. So just know that, I have clients, attorneys that would call me and be like, hey, like, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, no. Like you can guide people, but ultimately you're guiding yourself. So I think, back to what you were saying is like, trust yourself and just know that like you are intuitive in every moment. So if you trust that knowing within you, that doubt gets quieter and quieter and quieter, because it's just like a frequency, and it's most often just a thought. But if it's not connected to love, it's like, let that go. It's like those toxic people that used to be in your life. You're like, let that go. Like, that's a negative frequency. I do not want it. So super fun.
Yes. And it's interesting. Well, and one thing about my intuition is I can detect a snake, a liar, a fake, someone who's two-faced, who will say one thing and be all nice here. And then behind the scenes, they treat their people like shit. Or they don't do what they say or whatever. I can so pick those out in a crowd now. And I'll get my clients, they're like, oh, I went to so-and-so and I met so-and-so. And I'm like, stay away from them. Like, so, and I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, no, energy, no, they're bad. Like, and I only tell people that privately. I'm not going to share that out to the world. But if I have a client or a friend or somebody who's, I did that just last week because someone was on somebody's thing, and they were advertising this person, and I'm like, ooh, be careful, stay your distance, like only do that and get what you get and then get out, and don't promote too much that person, because your people will follow and they trust you. So anyways, so there's that. I also was in a mastermind one time, and it was with a guy in LA. And so he'd bring in a few actors in the area because he knew a lot of people. And Glenn Morshower, I don't know if you know who Glenn Morshower is. He is in so many movies. You would know him if you saw him. He is such a funny guy. And he would come into our mastermind and do like little improv classes with us and stuff. And he's just, I love him. He is so great. He was on 24. He was the staunch guy in the background, but he's been on so many things. Anyways, he talked about your intuition. He would say, you got to listen to the whispers. You got to listen to the whispers is what he would say. And that has always stuck with me, because I'll be, in the shower, and I'll be like, I'll hear something and I'll be like, oh, you got to tell so-and-so about this. And so I'll get out of the shower, I'll go to my email or my text, and I'll tell so-and-so about that. And same thing goes for just, I'll be in a restaurant, I'll be paying the bill, and they'll be like, nope, you got to pay 20% instead, or 30% instead of whatever. And I'll be like, okay. And, like, I just hear these whispers, and it's about that's what you said, the cosmos, and that's what it is, right? It's like, no, I need to drive tonight, honey, instead of you, or something, right? So you have to listen to the whispers.
Yeah.
Is how I think about it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention is when you're intuitive and you're connected, you're not afraid to be honest. So like one of the things I love about you, Katrina, is it's like, we're both like, hey, this is how it is. Let's be direct. Let's be honest and clear. If somebody's not wanting to look you in the eye and like hide something, it's like, ugh, like you can feel it. So I just love surrounding myself with people like you where it's like, hey, let's just be real. Let's look each other in the eye and be like, this is what actually is happening. Let's do it, because it's so much easier and cleaner and clear, and it helps you stay true to yourself, right? When you're honest, you're this pure channel of intuition and you're flowing with the light, right? There's no need to mask anything. So it's like to just trust that the more honest you get, the more pure you become, and the greater challenge you can sometimes have because other people may not be like that around you. It's pretty fascinating today on the show, I have to tell you. I keep thinking one thing and I literally keep channeling something else. It's like literally like spirit is just like, hi, like this is what it is. Because it can be a challenge sometimes. I mean, I know for me, it's like, I want those light beings around me. And if somebody isn't being pure and true, my frequency literally can't handle it. Like I want to jump out of my skin. So it's like, protect your field is what I'm hearing. And what I mean by that is your energetic space of light and love that can expand and feel free and feel easy and embraced. And so it's like, even now I got chills because it's like having this conversation with Katrina. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm held in the arms of love. I'm also holding her. Like there's a synergy of like, oh yeah, I get where you're coming from and let's expand this. Whereas if you're in this like toxicity thing, it's a repellent actually. You're actually going to repel the negative and then be like, wait, why doesn't that person love me? Because they're not really operating from love and that doesn't match your frequency.
And I actually physically get sick when I'm around people that there is one person that is I even just thinking about her, I want to like my stomach is churning because she is the fakest person I have ever met. And nobody knows. Like you don't know unless you know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like she just plays, oh my God, you're the best thing. I love you. Oh. And then she goes back and she treats her people like dog shit. And she lies and manipulates in her marketing. And then she doesn't deliver. And I'm like, oh. And then she treated my friend who brought her in to speak like she was nothing and didn't follow the agreement with what oh my God. And I was at this event with her and I literally couldn't even stay in the room. And so it's hard for me to be physically in a room with people who I know are just slime balls. And in the marketplace that people don't know. I just want to tell the world, don't listen to them. Don't buy their book. Don't rush to the back of the room. Like, like you're going to be sorry. And I hate to see that. And there's not that many people. There's a few, but I get physically ill now.
Mm-hmm. And that's your intuition speaking to you.
Yeah.
That is your intuition speaking to you. That is the embodiment of the knowing within you saying, not right. Something's way off here. And then you'll find if you actually turn another direction towards what feels good, you're like, oh, well, that feels right. That's in resonance. So there's always choice, right? We always get to choose what we engage with. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I was like, I want people to get in.
I just don't want to talk about it anymore because it's like, look.
Yeah.
So one of the exercises that I learned, I listened to the speaker one time at a workshop. I don't even know when it was. It was probably six years ago, maybe. Yeah. And I was in a place where I needed to let go of some stuff. Sometimes we harbor these things and we're like, we can't move forward unless we do some work around it, right? But she had this letting go exercise is what I call it. I don't know what she called it, but I call it the letting go exercise. And now I do it at every single event and with my mastermind folks. And I did it for 8 weeks straight every morning. And it's writing down everything that you're tolerating, that's annoying, that's bugging you, all the negativity in yourself, any head trash you have, any people that are bad energy, and you just write it down. You don't have to write sentences. You just write it all down on a piece of paper as fast as you can in the morning. Get it all out, all that negativity out of you, into a piece of paper. And then you crumble it up or rip it up and you throw it in the trash can. You have to physically stand up and throw it in the trash can. And you do it every morning until there's not a lot to write down anymore.
Wow.
And it works.
That's cool.
It works. I swear to God, it totally works. So if you have any, it takes a while sometimes. It took me 8 weeks to get rid of a whole lot of stuff I had with the ex-boyfriend and, some of the negative people. So and my own doubts. And another thing I would say about doubts is I doubted myself. It wasn't until I started making more comfortable, consistent cash flow when I had less doubts. I'm telling you. And I had more doubts when I wasn't making as much money as I needed to be making. I have usually I talk about the need number that you need to make every month so you don't have to pull out of savings and you don't have to put it all on a credit card where you can just pay everything that you need. And that doesn't mean everything that you have now, but it could be you need an assistant, but you quote unquote can't afford it. You need to put that into your need number. You need a coach, you need a new website, you need an assistant, then your need number needs to be much higher of what you need to make every month. Once you get to your need number, then the goal would be to double it to get to more of a want number. And then there might be more and more, but it was until I got to what was need plus for me, where my doubts really fell away. And so I think it was coming from a little bit more of a, not a positive frame, because I was needing money, right? And so when you need to make more money to pay your bills or whatnot, it's not a comfortable energy sometimes, unless you can mask it or let that go. So I had to let that go for a while too.
I mean, I wonder, to me, it kind of feels like energetically, when you know your value and you're creating that money, it's so much easier to trust yourself. So to me, it goes back to that word of just being solid, solid as gold. I know I'm worth it and valuable, so it's easier to trust myself. So the truth is, you already are valuable. You don't need to prove it. So once you know that, you can actually make that money. It's when I started the Intuitive Success Club, it was, and this was a long time ago, I charge more than that now, but it was for $3,000. And it was that was just the number. I just knew it and I owned it. So when you own it, it's almost like you become the energy of it, and then people can match it. It just is a really huge secret. I'm telling you, it works for any amount of money. When you truly know you're worth it, you will bring people in to match it.
True. I just got 4 new clients in my mastermind in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of investment.
Yeah.
But what's funny about money is I thought, okay, I'm to my need number. I'm making more than my need number. I'm doing well. I want to help the masses. So this is where I'm serving from the saucer, right? I filled my cup. Now I want to serve from the saucer. I want to help the masses. You know what I did 3 years ago? I created a $7 a month membership program. $7 a month. You know what they got? They got 3 one-hour calls with me personally in a group setting to hash out whatever it is they're working on, give them advice, help, whatever they're doing in their business or being. 3 calls a month was more than I was giving my mastermind. 3 calls a month. You know how many people? My goal was thousands of people. I'm come on, people, $7 a month. I've been in business for a long time, right? I know a lot about a lot. And the most I could ever get to stay in there was 230 people.
Wow.
In 2 years, I had it. And I promoted it everywhere. It was always my call to action. It was, I had banners at workshops and trade shows. I would speak on, I would do speaking gigs and say, just join the $7 a month International Entrepreneur Network. Easy peasy, right? And come and let me help you. So there was no barrier to, I can't afford it. Yeah. I didn't want any barrier to the, I can't afford it. Because I wanted to help everybody make more money, right? As soon as humanly possible. I'm all about the jumpstart, right? And it was baffling to me. So I did try the low price. Let me help the masses. And it was, I don't know, 230 people. Maybe I made $1,000 after paying my team to help, maybe per month. That's not enough to live on, right? No way. That was it was supposed to be the gravy money, right? It wasn't about the money. It was about serving, and people still didn't do it. And so I thought, you know what? I just energetically, it was, okay, if you're not even going to pay $7, then forget it. I'm getting rid of it. I got rid of it. And I said, okay, I'm just going to stay here where I feel valued, because I wasn't feeling valued, but I would have, if I had thousands of people, I would have felt very valued at doing that. I don't know. It's just, so if some of your audience is saying, well, I don't want to charge that much, I want to help more people. Well, they may not still come at the low end and see the value. I don't know. Like it's just a weird.
Yeah, no, I've done something similar and found that if I charge less, it wouldn't work. I have to charge a certain amount, and people get huge results. Like, I mean, huge. But it needs to be a certain price point. So I think people are invested in themselves to get the result. Like, you know, you can help them, but it really
skin in the game, baby. Skin in the game, right?
Yeah, actually, I years ago I paid $6,000 to a coach, and I knew it was the right thing to do. And then right after, I was like, oh wait, no, it wasn't, because he just didn't resonate with me. But because I was invested $6,000, and I made it work for myself. And he gave me one idea, which was to teach a free workshop over the weekend. And I said, okay, that is the idea that's going to work. I did it. I filled the room. And that was actually the base of my entire club now. So my point in telling you this is I chose that I was worth it to pay that. I stopped coaching with him literally after a month, and I made it work for me. So it's like, if you're invested in something, you can make it work. And, you know, trust your intuition to have the right coach. But I'm just saying, it's kind of what we put into something, we get out of it. It's just like a principle, I think, you know?
And you got the one idea that was good, and then you were good with that person. You didn't need to continue the other 5 months or whatever it was, or, you know, the other, but some people do that. They say, well, I paid for it, I got to do it. No, you don't. If you've gotten what you needed, and it could have been a learning lesson that you got. I've done that where I paid, you know, $15,000 and I got a big learning lesson, which helped me now make $250,000 a year. So like it all helps you get to where you are, but you can let go of that. Sometimes people are like, they hold on to these things. Well, I paid XYZ for this, I have to use it. Well, no, you don't. If you're evolving and now you're doing this thing over here, you don't need that. Let it go and do the thing you need to do, because you're holding yourself back.
Totally. 100%. Yeah. And time is a fun thing too, because sometimes it's like, you know, we'll have, coaching sessions won't always last as long as they need, I think, because they got what they needed. They're like, sweet, you know, it's like everything, it's about the energy. When you get what you need, move on, you know? So I think that's beautifully said. I love it. Is there anything else that you would like to add or share with our audience before we log off here pretty soon? Any other ways they can contact you? I know we have something coming up next month, but is there anything else that you want to share with people?
Well, I would say one thing too, that was a lesson I had to learn real quick is about meditation, because I would see everybody, and there's the, you know, your morning ritual, and they'd say, well, you need to meditate in order to get what you want. No. I'm like, I don't really like to meditate. I listen to tapes and CDs, and for 20 minutes I'll fall asleep, or I'll list my things up to do in my head. And I went to a psychic one time and did one reading with this psychic, and I said this problem, and I said, I feel like I'm supposed to meditate every day because everybody says I'm supposed to, and they're getting so many results, but it drives me crazy. I think I'm on my to-do list, and I can sit there for like a couple. She's like, you are so tuned in to manifesting that you can literally manifest, or you can meditate in 90 seconds and get what you need and move on. I'm like, oh, that freed me up. Like, yay, I can do that in the shower and be productive and like, get it out of the way and move on with my day. Thank God. I don't have to meditate for 20 minutes, for gosh sakes. Like,
Totally.
So, I'm sharing that because maybe there's people out there that need to hear that. I don't know, but it really freed me up, because I don't like to sit there. I like to get a lot done.
Yeah. I mean, it's like whatever works. It's like I meditate when I'm walking to the beach. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where does your connection point? To me, meditation is like how you can connect with the divine, you know, the spirit within you, the life force. So it's like whatever that takes for you to feel connected and trust that and move with that intuitive knowing. That's your key.
Exactly. So I like my 90-second meditations. It's all good.
That's awesome.
And the other quick thing is when you were talking about people not doubting themselves about their expertise and their worth and all that, sometimes I see people going after, well, I have to get this certification, I have to get this letters behind my name, right? You said you didn't have a degree at the time when people were questioning, right? And I have a degree, but I feel like it didn't really help where I am today. All my business and experience in my jobs has got me to where I am today. And all my mentors are so much more important than my college education, right? For me, maybe not for everybody, but I think a lot of us don't need that certification or that. And sometimes we come from an educated background and we think we need it, or we need it for our confidence. And either way is fine. If you need it for your confidence, great. But don't keep going after those certifications to try to get clients, because that's not how you're getting clients, right? So sometimes people put that in the way of getting clients, and then then they can't afford anything because they're not focused on the sales and marketing aspects of, client attraction and enrollment, and you're not getting where you need to go. So be careful being and not doing enough doing is probably my last word, is what I would wrap that up with,
Well, I mean, it's fascinating that you said it, because we actually have a certification program, but what I tell people is you're becoming it first, and then the certification's after. It's almost like it's a bonus. And to what you're saying about needing like the sales and marketing, yeah, you need to do that. Like you can be certified, but if you're not doing anything in your business to let people know about you, I mean, I know when I opened my office, people were like, hey, great metaphor. Like you need a sign, because if you don't have a sign, people don't know where to go, right? Like that is the marketing, which is what you do, the sales and marketing. Like, hey, like this is who you are. Be bold, be you. But I do agree that, the certification, it's a bonus. It's an add-on.
It totally is.
Like you're the product. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't have to get that before you get clients, is my point.
Yeah.
Like you can get them concurrently, or you can, do both at the same time. People are so worried about the perception that people will have with them. And if you're confident and that you're the best thing for this person, you could just be 2 steps ahead of the person you're working with, 2 steps ahead, and you're still the expert. You're still the leader. You're still showing them the ropes as you're learning your ropes. They're right behind you climbing up the rope. So it's okay to be in that position, and please stop comparing yourself to somebody who's been in business for 10 years if you're just starting, right? You just meet people where they are. So
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, just kind of fun to share. So like I started before I was certified, even in NLP or anything. It was like 2 months in, and they're like, hey, get testimonials from the people you're working with. So point being, like, just be it, do it, have fun with it. And then like put the plaque on your wall. Awesome.
Yeah.
So totally.
Yeah. Well, NLP you definitely need to get certified in, because that's complicated.
Oh my God. Yeah, we certify people, and I love it. I mean, but it was just like I didn't even have it done, and I was doing it. So like what you said is you become it, people are going to come to you, and then you have it. Katrina, is there a website that you want to leave people with? I know you said loveyourselfsuccessful.com. Is there anything else you want people to go to, or is that the best one?
Yeah, well, if you want more business and the doing stuff, right, JumpStartYourBizNow.com is my main website, JumpStartYourBizNow.com. And there's a free trainings page under the Start Here tab. And you can go, there's a whole bunch of different trainings on how to get started speaking, write a book, tips for your website, your marketing, and a call with me if you're interested. Lots of things. And the need number worksheet. I have a whole need number worksheet. If you really need to figure out what your money goal should be, like you're forgetting some things you need to have as, cost of doing business, then that's a good thing to fill out too.
Nice. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's just such a pleasure to spend this time with you. And thank you everybody for listening. And we just so appreciate you. And just really the intention of this is for you to get connected to your intuition, follow it, and look Katrina up. All right, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.